I had this young lady, I guess you'd say, she's probably early 20s, came up, married, and she just said, we love your podcast. And we are learning so much from it. And I said, well, how many kids do you have? She said, we don't. I said, but we're going to in the future. And so we're just like excited to prepare right now.
Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world.
Hello, my love. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. It feels kind of like a slow morning today. I don't know why, but we had a day off. It was like a holiday on Monday. And so now it feels like everything's been shifted. I felt like today was Saturday.
It's been a weird couple weeks.
It has
We've
been.
been traveling a lot and doing conferences, and it's just kind of messed us up a little bit.
Yeah, I think so a little bit. So hopefully everybody else feels like they're on it today, but I feel a little like it's Saturday.
And who knows what day people listen to this.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
So I'm sure they can relate. By the way, what do you call a can opener that doesn't work?
A broken can opener.
A can't opener.
Oh my!
You're not
How come
into
they
it.
never get old?
You're
to
not
you?
into
They like
it
it's been like
today.
however many years now, and they just never get old to you.
I think it's your reaction that doesn't get old to me.
Well, today though, we're really excited to talk to you guys today about connection. Greg and I were kind of going over it last podcast we did, the importance of connection, and it's kind of something that I feel like we've gone through seasons of doing very well and then seasons of not very well. And
With each other or with
all
the
the above.
kids?
With all of it. Like we've gone through seasons where, as a husband and wife, we've been very aware of needing to make each other a priority and connect very well, which you guys have heard us talk about a number of times. Husband and wives, mom and dads have to be on the same page, connecting to be able to then filter it down to your kiddos. And then same thing where we haven't been, and it has hurt us and our relationship. And then same thing with our kiddos. We've gone through seasons where we've really been very connected to all of our kids. And then sometimes it feels like we're kind of just going day by day and not doing it. So today we kind of want to talk about that and some of the things that we do to stay connected, both as a husband and wife and as parents to our kids.
Well, let's reverse engineer it a little bit. Why do you think, looking back now that you bring this up, why do you think we didn't focus on it? Like, I'm trying to think of other people out in the audience that maybe they haven't really focused on it either. But why do you think we weren't?
As far as like you and I go, so I think a couple of things. Number one, we get really quote unquote busy, whatever that means. But we get really busy, whether it's in goals, business, life, whatever it might be. And we don't prioritize the number one thing, which is you and me. Greg and I learned, like many people that have been married for anything longer than probably a minute, that literally if you don't prioritize each other, like life will catch up and take over. And next thing you know, one or both of you can feel so disconnected that, arguments start and disagreements about things and kind of like dishonor happens or disrespect or, just hurting, you're hurting. So what do? We lash out.
Yeah, I think, we first got married. It was probably just a level of ignorance. You know what I mean? In other words, like, I don't even think I knew that we had to put intentionality like we do now towards something like being connected with each other. Because you kind of just assume like, okay, well, we're married and so we're each other's people. And as long as we're like working on projects together or something, or at least we're advancing in life, quote unquote, financially or with whatever we're pursuing, then I guess we're we're good, like we're good. And the reality is that's kind of how we grew up, right? Like I never heard a parent or saw any other parents ever sit around and plan out and prioritize. How do we become more connected this year? How do we strategize this? What do we do? Like,
yeah, they did, we never heard it. If they did, I mean, I don't know what it looked like for them. I don't know. But like, we didn't ever hear about it, I guess.
I never heard it being like discussed even.
No.
Yeah.
And actually, we never heard it even like, I have for years read books.
Mm-hmm. We
have, hung around with people that were successful in different areas of life. Yeah. Maybe not necessarily their marriage, but like in areas of life. We've been to many marriage seminars, name it. We want to be connected. We just actually didn't have a clue how to be.
Yeah.
Especially when life was hitting you.
And you're right. There's information out there, but like one of our guest speakers at a conference we just ran, he said that the statistic around marriage is that over 90% of married couples never read one book about marriage.
Oh, that's crazy, isn't it?
Over 90%. And so it's like a level of ignorance, right? I don't think it's a ill intention. I think it's just a level of ignorance. Like you don't know what you don't know.
Right. And I think for us personally, we never read a marriage book either. Yeah. We would read, 5 love languages or something like that. But I think that was for our own self-help back then. Like,
and also for leading other people.
Yes. And I wanted you to know my love language to benefit me.
Yeah.
And you wanted me to know yours to benefit you. And it wasn't really for connection, I would say. More than just kind of, and to lead people, like you said, or lead our kids or lead whatever, So I just think there's just a level of, that's so sad to hear. Most people don't read a marriage book. I mean, I just think that's sad. And so all that to say, we went through seasons where, we really didn't know how to be connected. And we thought maybe the more we talk about how to be would work out. Or maybe we thought the more we hung around more people with good marriages, we'd connect all of a sudden. Or we thought, well, we'll talk about that later when we don't have as much on our plate. Or, you know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't that we didn't love being with each other. That was not the case whatsoever. It was more, we just really didn't know how to be intentional about connecting.
Yeah. And even when we decided that, we probably should start figuring out how to be connected, then we would listen to other people and be like, well, they do a date night. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's do a date night. This will be how we connect. And so then we would choose a time that made no sense, and we'd both be so stressed, and we'd both have too much on our plate, and neither one of us would replenish from it. And then we'd get in an argument or something. We're like, that was great. That was fantastic.
That was connecting.
Wonderful. We're so connected. We did our darn date night.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. Like we were again, this is why I think it was so cool at an event we just were at. I had this young lady, I guess you'd say, she's probably early 20s, came up, married, and she just said, we love your podcast, and we are learning so much from it. And I said, well, how many kids do you have? She said, we don't. I said, but we're going to in the future, and so we're just like excited to prepare right now. And I just told her, I'm like, you're one of the smartest young married people I've ever met, because what an idea. Let's get prepared for the future, versus like the rest of us, we just go and do whatever and then mess it up and then have to learn from our messes and then fix it. And then 15 years later, we feel like we're experts.
Yeah, good point.
But we do. We try to encourage everybody, like, gosh, a little preventative maintenance in the front end can go a long way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's some of the reasons that, we didn't connect. I think, and then other times I will just tell you with our kids, same thing, maybe they were too young and we didn't really understand how to connect with them when they were young. It kind of looks different than when they're older. Same thing though. Sometimes so much life is happening, that you don't take the time. I will tell you some of it for me, especially now, connection looks so much different for me with our kids because, especially when they want to have conversations about things that are on their hearts or things happening in their lives or something like that. I am there for it every day, all the time. But then some days you're kind of like, I think everybody can attest, but any moms that are doing that all the time, some days you're just like, I don't know if I can sit and have a long conversation right now. Mind you, I have it with 5 kids. Hunters are very simple conversations, but probably the most in-depth ones. But like 5 of them, I'm a little worn out once in a while. I took Drews on a date to connect like a I don't know, a month or two ago. I forget. We went to breakfast where he likes to go and all that stuff. And I don't know if they lost our order. I don't know what happened, but like a simple breakfast that should take an hour took like 2. Okay. He talked the whole entire time. I mean, the entire, like 2 hours straight, which I love, but I came back and I was exhausted a little bit. And then I had 4 more girls that were like, Mom, while you were gone, I need to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, where's your dad? Oh, he's at the gym. I'm like, got it. All right. Need to go to the gym, you know, and I have had one of our kiddos, so sweet. I love it. But we were gone for a long weekend doing a conference, like you said. And it's now whatever, Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember right now. I told you, I'm so confused on the week.
Yeah.
And every day, Mom, we need to take a walk. I need to talk. Mom, we need to take a walk. Okay, well, I need to run errands. Can we just, I think that's going to work. No, she wants to take a walk and we need to talk. Like, it's really hard sometimes.
I wonder where she gets that from.
You.
Oh, sure. That's funny. Right?
So I do think connection is so important. And for us, we're trying really hard to be, you know, consistent with it and diligent with it and doing it with a purpose. And so hopefully today, instead of our funny stories, we can give you guys a couple things that have been working for us.
Yeah.
But we're by no means perfect. Because
I mean, before we go to some of the details about how to be connected, though, you know, I think we said it. Like, one can be, if you're not fighting for connection intentionally, it could be you're just in a season of ignorance, meaning that you're still kind of like thinking things are probably better than maybe they are, right? Because, you know, one thing that was really powerful lesson we learned was that everything nothing stays plateaued. Either you're becoming more connected or you're becoming more disconnected almost daily.
right.
And so otherwise people think that, well, we're good. We're just kind of in a good place. It's like, well, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards, right? And when you understand that concept, you start thinking about everything differently, right? So ignorance, another one is a misunderstanding of priority, I think. I know for a lot of years, I always thought that you would just feel loved by me as long as I was creating the financial success and also the protection in the household, right? Now, those are 2 of my jobs for sure, but I thought that was enough. You know, I just had this assumption in my brain that I'm doing what the man's supposed to be doing. And so therefore she's just probably walking around just, you know, glowing at how much I am taking care of her. And the reality is if the other stuff isn't in there, that's not the case, you know? So it's kind of a misunderstanding of priority. And then the third thing, I think for me, was a misunderstanding of my capacity. In other words, just like you said, you know, we joke about all the things we do on a daily basis, and we're running this conference and serving hundreds of people, and we're, you know, coaching clients individually and pouring our hearts into them. We're in a mastermind right now.
Yeah.
You know, are they okay? You keep like.
It just doesn't look like it's recording.
You keep side looking.
Because it's not, mine hasn't started recording, so I don't know.
I'm like shifty eyes, focus.
Well, I was trying to, I think you need to put this in the middle of us because that's not working.
Okay. Well, it's working on my end. I can see it all.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Good to see y'all.
I'm not, so see Greg.
Welcome to our distracted part of our segment of our podcast.
Yep.
The third thing was like a misunderstanding of my capacity, I felt like, meaning that we do all of these things and we really show up for all of these things, you know? So I feel like you have to grow in capacity to show up for things, you know, like our coaching clients, we work with some very high level people, very smart people, and they hire us to be able to do things to help them get past points in their life that they haven't been able to figure out. But these are people that can figure out more than most, right? So when we show up, we have to be on our game. The point is, it doesn't matter if you were throwing up all night, sick, you still got to show up. And so you learn to have a capacity to be able to shake things up. Doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter if you had other stuff go on. Doesn't matter if the car just broke down. Doesn't matter if you got off a plane late last night because there was a delay. You have to show up. That, to me, that's capacity, you know? Well, I also had to realize that there's a capacity involved that I have to grow into to show up for you like that, right? And instead of like, I'm showing up for everything else like that, and then when I'm with you, I just get to not show up, you know? And so I think there's just like things I've had to learn about I don't know, to help me get to a place to even be able to be connected with you, to work on being connected with you, if that makes sense. Right?
No, that's really good.
I think a lot of people probably face the same kind of things. And so if I can encourage you in the last minute of this podcast here, we talk about this quite a bit on purpose. You know, the fact that you have to fight, you have to be so intentional in today's distracted world that also is being run by an evil spirit, right? Overall. So therefore, there is every angle coming against you and your spouse for your connection in your marriage. It's coming against you and your kids and with your connection, with you discipling them and being close to them. You just got to know that you can't choose to not be in the war. You are in the war. So you need to learn how to fight. You know, fight for the right things, fight for connection. So, all right. So next episode, we will get into how do we do it.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.